Good evening, lovely tubers. My name is the White Mexican, and welcome to another deck profile video for you guys today. I'm going to be deck profiling my updated cash tier list, and we're just going to get right into this for you guys. Starting with the main deck monsters, I run a single copy of Ogre, a single copy of Scareclaw Kashtira, a playset of Fenrir, a playset of Unicorn, a playset of Riseheart. I know a lot of players tend to run two of these or one of these. I think this card is so great. I think you need to run three. You can side out one, game two or game three if you need to, but I think starting with game one to have three is just such great synergy. Really, really good stuff. So I run three personally. For hand traps, we have 3 Shifter and we have 3 Ash Blossom. That's going to be all for the main deck monsters. Moving on to the magic cards, starting with the one-ofs. I do play a single copy of Gold Sarcophagus. This is actually really, really great because this can even give you fodder for your Kashtira Birth. If you have it removed from play, you can go ahead and you can activate this, pitch a Theosis, use Theosis recursion effect to go ahead and scoop the Birth out of the remove from play zone. Or if you already have Birth, you can go ahead and use this, pitch whatever you need from your deck, Unicorn, Fenrir, whatever have you, and you can just go ahead and special it out with the Birth that you already have with you. Really, really great stuff. A lot of applications to this. I never really thought about this before. This is the first time I've actually tried running this. This is definitely one of the better tech choices in my personal opinion for Kashtira. Next is going to be Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars. This is draw power. If you guys don't know what this card does, it's pretty good. It's kind of like Pot of Greed, kind of not. It does kind of conflict with the Pot of Prosperities, but it is only a one-of. I would not run any more than this than just as a one-of. I usually almost always get sided out game 2 because, again, it does conflict with Prosperity, but going into game 1, it's not too bad depending on what your draws are. So it's a one-of for now. Harpy's Feather Duster, I put this in the main, so I've actually been losing a lot to this card being in game 1. Not being sided, just, having immediate access to this card. It's super good. Labyrinth has only just, begun to even get better with their new trap card that dropped on the new subset. And this card's just a blowout card. This and Lightning Storm, played rightfully so, can just be complete blowouts, and I really want to figure out a way to factor in Lightning Storm. I think having 2 Lightning Storms on the side is extremely critical, especially again with the boost that Labyrinth. I think there's going to be an insurgence of Labyrinth players because of the new trap card that came out, rollback or whatever it is. So this side deck that I'm going to show you at the end is not completely final. It's kind of just a rough draft. I do want to figure out what to cut to incorporate 2 Lightning Storms, but for now I'm just maining the 1 Duster, 1 Called By. I usually don't run into too many hand traps. Ash usually hits the Theosis, which is, kind of near here and there. I do run a place of Dimensional Fisher, so Crow, Veiler, and Droll are almost always not even a consideration in this personal build, but opening up with Prosperity, trying to dig into the Fisher, I could still technically get Drolled there, so I think the one-of is fine. This game 2, just like 7 Stars, usually is a perfect side-out target for game 2 as well. But game 1, it's pretty nice. 4th Planet, the 3-dimensional Fishers, really, really great. Again, this stops Veiler, Crow, and Droll for those players who are maining those. And again, a lot of people just need their graveyard with the tier elements or Dark World, or even the Horus package is huge. A lot of people really need to use their graveyard as toolbox utility, and this plus Shifter just completely denies them of that. So it's a really key structure control aspect of the deck. 3 Prosperities. This is best at 3. Again, for a while, I was thinking about running this at 2, just because you're never really going to, you don't have the space to proc for 18 cards. Your extra deck's only 15, so you're never actually going to get to use 3 6s. You can use a 3 and a 1 and just, use your whole entire extra deck, which is really not ideal because rank 7s are a huge utility box for Kashtira. There's a lot of blowout rank 7s, so you're really not going to want to do that, but again, you just want to see this card as fast as possible. This gets you into so many different plays. More specifically, the reason why I prefer this as my main engine for draw power or for digging is for Dimensional Fisher. Dimensional Fisher turn 1 is just so critical, and even better, obviously, if you win the dice roll. So, again, I really wanted to make 3 Upstart Goblins because I absolutely love that card. I think that card is gorgeous and super rare. The Secret Slayer super rare is just completely gorgeous. And I wanted to run 3 Upstart with the 7 stars, and it's just not as impactful as the Triple Prosperity, in my personal opinion. Triple Prosperity is really the way to go, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that's just kind of what it is for now. I can't really think of any other better thing. This plus 1 7 stars, then potentially siding out the 7 stars game 2, game 3, whatever have you, and then just keeping the triple pot seems to have the best consistency for me personally so far. And then of course we have 3 Planet, we have 3 Theosis. I know some people run 2 of these. Again, I am playing triple Rise Heart and Gold Sarcophagus, and almost always the target for Rise Heart and Gold Sarc is going to be Theosis to get the recursion effect, so it's critical. I know this sucks to brick on this and it happens every once in a while, but 3 Theosis, 3 Rise Heart for me personally, it takes too much away from the synergy if you don't run 2 playsets. And then of course triple Birth. For the traps, super simple playset of Impermanence. I took out the preparations, and it's been quite some time since I've run Big Bang. Both of them are really great trap cards, but right now in the format, they're just too slow, and I really hate... I'm not even siding them right now, but even especially maining them, because if you lose the dice roll, 50-50 chance you lose the dice roll, and you're going second, you don't want to open up with traps. So that's why I just run a trap card that can be used immediately. For extra deck, we have 1 SP Little Knight. Absolutely hate this card. This card is such trash. Really do not like this card, but it's just too good to not use, to not play. If your opponent has this card and you don't have this card, you're just at such a disadvantage. It's just such a ridiculously powerhouse card. So you pretty much, if you have it, you have to run it. It's just, it jumps around evenly matched, it jumps around targeting effects, it just jumps around so much silly shenanigans. Like, if you have it, you pretty much just have to use it, unfortunately, until this card gets errated or banned or power crept somehow. I know it's going to happen eventually. 1 Baron, of course. I'm running 3 Ash, level 3 tuner. All the Kashtira monsters except for Rise Heart are level 7. 3 and 7 is 10. So there's your Baron. Just keep in mind, again, that Theosis and Rise Heart do lock you into XYZs exclusively, so you're going to have to go into Baron first if you want to do that play. 1 Typhon, 1 Zeus, 2 Red Eyes, Flare Metal. I really miss a set 3, honestly, because one of them usually gets cannon foddered for the 6 target, 6 banish, 6 remove from play for Prosperity. So usually only have 1 in the extra deck moving into the game state, so I really do miss having 3, but for now 2 has been working pretty well. I do miss the 3rd copy. It's just the extra deck is just really tight. 15 cards is really small. It's always super tight. Maybe cutting one of the Shangiras, but again, one of them is automatically going to be fodder for Prosperity, so I really like to have a 1 and then a backup. So it's kind of tough, but I'm still kind of debating on figuring out if I need to cut something for a 3rd Red Eyes. I do run triple Annihilation. This card is just so good. Honestly, out of all my extra deck, Annihilation, it's not uncommon for me to go into 2 or 3 of these. It's usually 2 because, again, 1 usually instantly goes for fodder for Prosperity. This card is insane. Sometimes, if you're feeling crazy, you can attack with it, and then main phase 2, use the destruction effects to do 2 spot removals, and then, drop a Zeus on top of it. If you want to, I mean, at that point, it would only be a 1 material Zeus if you used its effect twice, but several different plays, just such a good powerhouse card. Absolutely love this card. It's really good, and the, the banishing from your graveyard, you can banish a Theosis, you can banish something, fodder for Birth. It's super good. I think this card is just insane not to run at 3. I know a lot of players like to only run 1. Again, one usually is going to be fodder for the most part. That's why I do play sets of a lot of these rank 7s, because they're just so good. And some of them, unfortunately, just have to be fodder for prosperity. Just the same with Big Eye. So playset of Big Eye, again, there are a couple cards out there like the Labyrinth, big bodies, you know, that can't be targeted. It makes it a little tough. One of the branded fusions can't be target as well. A little bit harder with those, but for the most part, like, you can just permanently change a heart, permanently snatch and steal anything you want, and it's just really, really good. And I just can't get away from running a playset as this as well. Finally, for the extra deck, I run triple Lava Golem. This by far is the MVP of going second, just the same with evenly matched. Almost always win or lose dice roll game 1. If I know that I'm going, more than likely going second game 2, it's always going to be a triple set of Lava Golem and a triple set of evenly matched for the most part. Just, you know, MVP, just crazy, crazy wins. So a lot of crazy synchro cards, fusion cards, a lot of really controlling extra deck cards, and Lava Golem just completely just swoops them away. Especially with Prosperity, you can, you know, it's pretty easy to dig this up turn 1 if you can proc off your Prosperity as well. We have triple Cosmic, so Runic, Sarcophagus for the Horus engine. There's a lot of stuff. I was maining 2 for a while, but it's just, it's good, but I think it's better utilized as a side card, because if you're not going against Runic, or if you're not going against the Horus engine right off the bat, there's definitely value, but it's not as good as value as when you're playing those types of decks. So I did end up moving it to the side. The one rivalry of the Warlords, this is just completely blowout. Every single Kashtira monster, including Shang Era, is a psychic. The only one that is not a psychic is, of course, Riseheart. Riseheart is a warrior, so unfortunately he kind of breaks the mesh on that. But all the other Kashtira monsters are all psychic, so this is just blowout. You can keep on just synergizing all your plays, and your opponent just sit there and is stuck with one monster type, and this really, really hurts them. I was maining this, again, just like the Kashtira traps. I really don't like losing the dice roll, because you never know, and then opening traps is just way too slow, so I ended up moving this to the side deck. Something else kind of different, and again, you got to understand, I personally, this isn't kind of gonna like be like a big time deck, like kind of generic go anywhere and take anywhere and win kind of build. This is specifically curtailed to my specific locals here in upstate New York, with the experiences that I've had, kind of knowing the players and being experienced with the various tournament stores that I go and compete at on a weekly basis. This is my specific curtailed build. So you guys have to know what you're preparing for. If it's a higher echelon of play, or if it's just the local levels, you have to know what you guys are obviously building for. And that's kind of something I forgot to mention before, that this is specifically, I curtail my decks for the local meta and the local scene. So we have a lot of branded and a lot of Labyrinth. And, you know, this card is slow, and I know, you know, if some of my compadres here in the Syracuse area are watching this, they really don't agree with this. They think this is too slow. It's just too easy to get rid of, which is very, very true. It is a trap. It is a little bit slower, but if you can keep it on the board, I think it's just completely blowout. I played a hero player earlier this week and just completely blew him out with this card. Was not expecting it, and, you know, it worked, but sometimes it doesn't work. You know, you can't win them all. But as of now, I think it's really, really good, and I think it's worth it as a 2 of in the side deck. For there's just a lot of crazy dark decks. Dark decks is always going to be super dominant, just like light. So then, of course, we have a playset of Dimensional Barrier, a lot of crazy fusions, a lot of crazy synchros, more specifically, even some XYZs, but primarily this is going to be for fusion and synchro decks, because they're a lot more popular right now. And, of course, we're going second, triple evenly matched. Really crazy story. I was actually, so I got third at my locals tonight playing this deck, this exact same build. And we went to game 3. No, it was game 2. We had a really grindy game 2. Blew him out game 1. Game 2, obviously I won game 1, so I was going second, so I put it in, lava golems, and I put in triple evenly match. Anyway, it was really grindy. We ended up going like really far out. I attacked with all my monsters and stuff like that, and ended up getting them down to I think 400 life points, and I risked it, and I surpassed the 4 summon limit, got to my 6th summon, and then I got nibbed, unfortunately, because I was going for I took full control, cleared board, and then attacked and got him down to 400, and then I was going for Red Eyes to completely stop any of his plays next turn. Unfortunately, he just happened to have the nib, so kind of the way it is. Completely blew me out after that, but I ended up having a really grindy game 2, and then ended up top decking this with I had the nib token, and I think I had like a Rise Heart or something like that. But he ended up getting the Rise Heart, but I had a pretty hefty nib token, and he had Baron. He had already used the negate, and it was Baron and something else. I can't remember. But I had the nib token, and I had this, and I ended up basically changing the nib token because it was only 2,800 attack, but it's defense. I had like a fat booty. So I ended up changing the nib to attack, entering battle phase, attacking his Baron to take 200, and then I ended up dropping evenly matched, and I ended up like ripping him for, I think it was like 4 or 5 cards. So it was really blowout to use evenly match at such a late point in the game. Evenly match is usually a blowout card in like turn 1 or turn 2, but it was like turn like 10 or something like that, and I was able to still evenly match, which was pretty insane. So it just speaks volumes about what an amazing side card that is. Obviously, that was a really unique situation. That was super rare. And then, of course, you have your zones, because you can't forget about the shenanigans of locking out zones. Shang Era is still very much at 3, and if you run more than 1 or just 1, it's just, it matters. A lot of people forget about that. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. It's not the strongest pull towards Kashtira. I think the disruptions of the monsters, ripping from the extra deck and ripping from the deck and then ripping from the field, that's kind of like the highlight of the deck, but do not sleep on this card. This card is super good. It procs your planet for destruction, and it locks zones, and just don't forget about that. That's something that a lot of people don't really think about. They kind of just push it over until you end up locking 5 of their zones, and then they get super salty because they never thought you'd be able to lock 5 zones, which you can do very, very quickly, especially if you have 2 Shangiros. That is all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been a showcasing by Autumn's Allure. My name is the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.